Hi, it's Mike from Vox Political again, and this time I've got something to say about the water companies. So if you listen to it and like what I've said, then please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll get straight into it. So the question today is, why should public money bail out water companies? I've got a great little video clip from Shining Labour like Clive Lewis, but I also want to highlight the comments his post on X publicising the clip attracted, because they ring true. Okay, let's have the clip first.
We need long-term patient approach, especially given the climate crisis. And this is fundamentally incompatible with privatisation. I think we could... I will give way.
In Harpenden and Berkhamsted, while the CEO of Thames Water got £195,000 in bonuses, we saw over 100 days non-stop of sewage in our River Vere, Chalk Stream. The same now is happening again 1 year later with 1,000 hours non-stop. Would the right honourable member agree with me that this system clearly doesn't work and those bonuses are not setting the right incentives?
I would agree with the honourable lady, and I hope her party comes to its senses at some point, and maybe on the same senses that my party needs to come to, and accept that public ownership is probably, some form of public ownership is going to be the best way to resolve that. First of all, these companies, that's my personal view, I like put that on the record. First of all, these companies have legal obligations, first and foremost, to their shareholders. Short-term profit maximisation. When water was privatised, quoting from Unison's recent report on this matter, to ensure the commercial success of companies, the government wrote off all the existing debts of the regional water authorities, that was £6.5 billion in total, and gave private companies £7.7 billion of public subsidies in tax relief on profits. Now, it's come to my attention that even some former chief executives of water companies fear for the future of the industry, because good investors, by and large, have exited. It's now the Macquaries, the vulture capitalists of this world, who dominate shareholding. But this issue goes far beyond regulation. Indeed, our own regulator, Ofwat, has been found wanting. Its own growth duty prioritises business as usual. In other areas, the government has quite rightly recognised and embraced the value of public ownership, such as in rail and in GB Energy. But unfortunately, when it comes to water companies, there seems to be an inconsistency across government policy. Many of us on this side ran on a manifesto commitment to reduce the cost of living. That commitment is one which I think every Labour MP here believes in. But the cost of corruption, of extraction by private water companies should, under no circumstances, as is currently configured in this bill, land on the heads of our constituents, should any of these companies go bust or be taken into special administration. Water is a monopoly industry. That means bill payers and taxpayers are the same. What message would it send to our constituents if they're asked, either via bills or via tax, to pay to make a payout for the mistakes and excesses of privatised water? I will give way.
Well, the honourable gentleman, and doubtless the behaviour of the privatised firms should be looked at closely. But the fundamentals of a state-run system for long-term assets like this is they were chronically underinvested. They could never win out in the political battle between schools, hospitals and long-term water infrastructure, and it was only the privatisation that allowed the record investment that's gone in since. That's something he ought to recognise in getting this balance right.
I thank the honourable member for his intervention. I do recognise that, and I, for 1 second, am not calling for nationalisation, which was the model he was talking about. There are a plethora of possibilities of public ownership, from mutualisation all the way through to giving regional authorities more scope, even working with the private sector, but ensuring that the public have a critical say over the future of water. There are multiple ways that public ownership and forms that it can take. So I'm not necessarily in favour of 1970s-style nationalisation, pretty much what they have in Scotland at the moment. But I will ask the front bench to consider new Clause 8 and to ensure that our constituents, the people we came into politics for, do not foot another single penny for the failures of privatised water. Investors shareholders, creditors, they should be the ones that take the haircut. They should be the ones that foot the bill because of what they've done to our water. This should not be landing on our constituents' heads. This is a political choice, and I would urge my government to make it clear that we will always back the public, not private companies which have got us into this very mess. Thank you.
The argument up against the public sector bailing out a privatised firm was supported very strongly by TV and radio presenter Terry Christian, who tweeted, "That's the trouble with capitalism. It expects socialism to bail it out." Spot on, Terry. And then Carol Hawkins went one further by taking a holistic view of the effect across the board. She said, employers expect taxpayers to keep their businesses afloat. They expect taxpayers to pay a top-up, universal credit, on the low salaries they pay. They embezzle their employees' pension funds. Taxpayers take on the pension bill, yet they keep all the profits. Water privatisation was an experiment that failed because of greed. Yes, there was a little bit of investment, but huge amounts of money that should have gone into improving the service were taken by board members and shareholders instead. The result was inevitable. These companies are failing due to chronic mismanagement. The only logical course of action is to bring them back under public control. But of course, neither the Tories nor Labour under Keir Starmer and his cronies will ever do that, because it is against their neoliberal profit for the rich, trickle down for the poor principles. The problem with the water firms is not one of service failure, but of political ideology. Our water may be full of excrement these days, but let us at least be clear about that. Okay, that's all I have on that one. Please like, comment and subscribe. You will see me in the next one.